We're back. Told you it wouldn't be 3 months. We got a episode. I haven't actually made it yet, so I don't know how it will turn out. It'll probably be okay. Maybe not. I don't know. But we're back to the old quest now, where we're starting to work our way through 2004 properly this time, or at least very briefly, before we skip forwards again when we get to Death Plateau, because that got redone. But we got some spicy quests coming up, and then we start really kind of breaking into like the super good quests that I really enjoy and I'm looking forward to doing. So yeah, let's get into it.
Journey with me to Gillinor, from Ashdale, a world to explore, in search of the book of 1,000 songs, as we set off from the shore.
Alrighty, let's do this. Yeah, it's time for ogres again. What that means, dialogue you cannot understand. But yeah, time for big chompy bird hunting. We start off talking to Rance here, who demands that we make stabbers so he can hunt the chompy. Of course, we don't know how to make stabbers, and apparently making stabbers is a secret, and Rance won't tell us unless we agree to make stabbers for him. So yes, he's kind of wrangled himself into a pickle here by demanding this random stranger make stabbers for him and then not tell them how to make stabbers unless they agree to make stabbers for him. But we shall do it, because we must. Alright, Stixies and Stabbies. Cool. So, the Stabbies is wolfbone arrowheads, which one of the glorious things they did is they got rid of a lot of the RNG with making the arrows. Like, if you sort of remember, like, old school / the original version of this, you get 1, 2, 4 arrowheads and 1, 2, 4 shafts and 1, 2, 4 success. It is absurd. It is impossible to keep them synced. And it is simply infuriating. But thankfully, they make it a whole lot better. So yes, I've made the stabbers. And now we can stick the chompy. But the chompy don't come unless you bait it with the fatsy toesies. So we have to continue to inquire what the hell Rance means by half of this crap, because it doesn't make any sense outside of his own head. But yes, it's headache-inducing, but basically what we're doing is we have to go and inflate toads to make them big and round and juicy looking. So in that mess of dialogue that is nigh incomprehensible, he says that his kids mess around and make them big, and that they use the blower on the toadsies. And they did at the play, but they locked it in the box. Now that we have the blower, we can get the toadsies. And we get the toadsies by filling the bellows with the swamp bubbles. And now we get a big fat toadsy. having making the toadsies, we now get to go back to Rance. Put them right there. And do. Take the toadsie. Put it on the floor. Go back and talk to Rance so he can go and shoot a chompy. Yes, you can stick the chompy. But yes, doing this quest just reminds me of that one scene in Shrek, where they just inflate the toad and the snake, and you just kind of feel bad for the toad and the snake. It just like floats off. Oh look, there's a chompy. Two romantic assholes go and like inflate them and let them float off into the sky to die horribly. Oh no, my toad exploded. But yeah, this is another old quest, and thus it's a little bit infuriating at times. I mean, this entire activity is infuriating, and you have to do it. You have to catch, like, 1,000 of these things. Nope, he's gonna shoot the chompy, and he completely and utterly fails. And he's blaming my arrows instead of it being a skill issue. Hunt the chompy. Oh look, we killed the chompy. Ta-da! First try. Alrighty, so they want me to cook their chompy too, and they want sides. So Rance wants onion, and I have to go ask his two shithead kids what they want. Equal leaves. And dual. So that's easy enough. Everything they can possibly ask for is nearby. It is random out of a set of ingredients. And we put it on the stick. And then we make the seasoned chompy. And we bring it back to Rance. And they enjoy it. And that is big chompy bird hunting completed. We get fletching, cooking, and ranged XP. And we can now do chompy birds and earn the ogre hats, which will eventually have to be done. Yay. Hello, hello, hello. We are back again. It is time for Elemental Workshop number 1. Unlike Old School Runescape, we have 4 of them in this version of the game. And they get worse in terms of the annoyance of the puzzles. But this quest is remarkably quick if you actually know what to do, so let's do this extraordinarily quickly. We find a book that is in a bookshelf in a random house in Sears Village. We cut it open for, well, some reason, find a key, use the key on a wall, and find ourselves down here in this mysterious place that is very, very broken. So we have to do a whole bunch of things to get it working again. Why are we doing this? Because. So, in our list of things to do, we have to fix this water wheel over here to make it actually run. And then following that, we get to fix the bellows, which has a giant hole in it. And then we turn it back on. And then we get some ore from these earth elemental rock dudes so that we can actually make the thing. And then we go and find this bowl in a random box, fill it with lava, put it back into this furnace so the furnace turns on, and then we can make our bar. Once we have our bar, we can make the elemental shield, and then once completing that, the quest is done. We get a bunch of XP. I told you it would be a very quick quest. On to the next one. So it's time to unlock Mauritania and all of the juicy organ music that is contained within. Priest in Peril starts off with asking King Rold for something to do, in which he kind of volunteers us to go check up on a guy named Drizzle who's keeping an eye on this river salve. And because we didn't actually ask for a reward, he's not going to pay us. So we go and just knock on the door of the church, and it's very, very sketchy, but we are extremely stupid. So these very clearly not Drizzle monks task us to, well, go kill a dog. And because we're helpful and dumb, we wholeheartedly agree to do this without asking any further questions about why we are doing it or what the reason for it. But we're just go and kill poor Cerberus here, who is doing nothing besides being a good boy. And we go and report back to the king that we did a good job, and he is understandably extremely mad at us and calls us an idiot. So now we have a new job, and our new job is to fix the mess that we made by being stupid and a fuck up. So back we go inside the church this time, and oh no, it's full of monks of Zamorak, and actual Drizzle is locked up in the top. So we have to go and find the key and free him, as well as figure out some way to make sure that the very spooky vampire that happens to be in that coffin right next to us doesn't wake up. So we go all the way back down to the crypt to get some water and the key. We stop off and kill some monks until we find a different key that we happen to need to get the actual key that we need. Fortunately, that doesn't take very long, as the first guy we killed happens to have it on him. And then we go and swap out the iron key for the golden key. And then we open up the cell with some dirty water for Drizzle to bless. And now we get to actually go and try and fix the problem that we caused, and we need to purify the river with a buttload of rune essence. This is another one of those little micro optimizations that they did in RuneScape 3, is at some point they changed it from needing 50 across the board to 25 pure essence. So it's now only one trip rather than two or more, depending on how your inventory management is. So, now that everything is blessed and happy and hunky-dory, we have, well, we get a knife and some prayer XP and access to Mauritania. Hurrah! And we fix the problem that we made. Next up is Nature Spirit, which we start out by talking to Drizzle. It is yet another quest where we go and get asked to check up on someone. In this case, we need to go look for Philoman, who is in Mortmire Swamp. Yes, I know, it's very spooky. Look at the spookiness. Go. There's the proper spooky feeling. So you make our way over, and turns out Dephilion is dead. And he has a little bit of trouble coming to grips with this, and doesn't quite believe us, and is very resistant to the idea of being dead. So We gotta manage to convince him, which takes a little bit. But he gets there in the end. So, as part of this resolution of coming to terms with being dead, is he's going to become a nature spirit. And the process to do this is a little bit involved, but it pretty much involves blessing through a slightly obscure combination of tasks with some outside help. So pretty much the first thing that we did there was we got a bloom scroll from him, and we had to go get blessed by Drizzle, who conveniently teleports us back, by the way. And then we basically need to use bloom spell to get something from nature, have something that was freely given, and then have something that was blessed, and we put it down in front of him in the right places, and it works. And then he turns into a nature spirit, kind of. But nature spirits need a grotto, which also needs to be improved, but it still needs a little bit more work, and to do that, we need to go and get a sickle, get that blessed. And then that in the combination of a druidic pouch, we can get lots of lovely, fun Mauritania goodies, fill up the pouch, and then kill out gas. And we have to do this 3 times. I'd like to point out that since this is an old quest, it doesn't tell you a lot of this. It just kind of vaguely waves you in the correct direction. But at the end of that, we return back. He's able to finish everything. We have many glorious sparkles, and we have completed the quest. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. We've accomplished quite a lot of very fun and lovely things. And for whatever reason, we can't sit on this bench, Jagex. Please, why can't I sit on every single bench in the game? I can only sit on some of them. So, as you can kind of see, I have some training to do for the next few quests coming up, and I have to get some items that are a little bit tricky to obtain. But that shall be for next time, which might be in a little while because Leagues is coming out and I kind of want to play Leagues. So, yeah. Bye-bye.